Hello and welcome to the You Are the Program podcast presented by Nudge Printing. If this intro sounds a little different, it is because it is. Our co-host Dante is on his honeymoon in Portugal.
Finally.
After about 72 hours or however long of travel it was, he is finally there, I think.
What was it? What did he say? 3 canceled flights? A whole day in the airport?
I think he landed in Boston on Friday night. And they just left today, Sunday at 10 a.m. or something.
Well, I think they left at 4 a.m.
Okay.
Or 4 p.m. Got to Portugal or got to Dublin or something. See, this is what I'm talking about. They were originally supposed to go straight to Lisbon. Then it was Paris. Or then it was Dublin. Then now it's Paris. I think they flew to Paris and then they flew from Paris to Lisbon.
Yeah, and then I was looking at his location, and it looked like he was driving away from downtown Lisbon. So they were in a countryside somewhere in Portugal too. But long story short, Dante is there safely. Me and Tyler are holding down the podcast. The USC postgame, Michigan State loses 45-31 in a game that started at 11:30 Eastern, and I'm ashamed to say that I went to bed at halftime. After watching the highlights back this morning of the second half, I definitely would have been a little excited last night, watching the game. But it was I think I went to bed at 1, and that was at halftime, and I couldn't stay up any longer, and I just knew that we were going to give up 300 yards rushing, so I didn't want to see that either.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out great for me. I worked till 8 yesterday, so I was able to get home and kind of relax before the game started. But as we got into the game, and then I saw at halftime, it was almost 1 my time. It was after 1 your time. I'm like, wow, this can never happen again. We can't have a 10. It was almost, I think by the time it kicked off, it was 10, in between 10:15, 10:30. We can't ever have that late of a kick again. That was miserable for us. I know as a player, I'm sure the players didn't love it. Just bad all around. But yeah, I mean, second half was entertaining. These guys, I mean, they battled their asses off, especially, I mean, the hand they were dealt. I mean, guys going down, prayers to Wayne Matthews.
Yeah.
Glad he's doing better. But it was a tough circumstance. And I mean, you got to tip your hat to USC. I mean, going into the game, I feel like a lot of the hype around that offense kind of started building as we got closer to game time, especially on College game day. They talked about how good their offense was. And people are starting to take notice, and it was just kind of sucks that we had to kind of be the guinea pig for the nation to see how good that USC offense is.
Yeah, and on the Wayne Matthews note, he did fly home with the team last night, which is awesome to hear. It means it wasn't anything too serious where he had to stay overnight in California, so that was good for him. But yeah, I mean, game day was hyping up the USC offense, and when you yes, they have great numbers, but when you look at their schedule, they played Georgia State. They played Missouri State, and they played Purdue, which Purdue, I texted us in the group. They're not as bad as I thought.
They're not as bad. I might maybe hand up for all of us because we just kind of wrote them off as being the worst in the Big Ten, and they are certainly not that. No. UCLA can take that crown right as we speak. They're horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, Purdue still lost by 30 to Notre Dame, who's also very good, but they have been looking a lot better. But USC hadn't really played against anyone. Their offense was great, and so I wasn't 100% sure. Obviously they had players. They had Lincoln Riley, so they know how to do stuff. But I wasn't really sure what I was going to get from them. Maybe they were going to have a game against us. Maybe they weren't. The run game obviously was very gashing on our defense. I think they had 289 yards on 40 rushes, so about 7.2 yards a rush. It's tough to play in a Big Ten game when you can't stop the run. I mean, that's just Big Ten football. And they were saying it on the broadcast yesterday too. It was USC wanted to and Lincoln Riley wanted to show people that they're in the Big Ten, they belong in the Big Ten, and they just wanted to run the ball. And they've been throwing the ball all across the yard all season long in their first 3 games. And coming up against us, they kind of went a little more towards the run game. And as they should have, because it was working every time they handed the ball off on the ground game.
Yeah, I heard the broadcast say that, and I understand why they said it. I don't know if USC really did it to make a point that they can run the ball and that they're in the Big Ten, but they probably watched the film like everybody else and were like, we can run on these guys. And I guess they hadn't. Michigan State defense hadn't really given up many big run plays to that point in the season. But yesterday they highlighted it. There was, I think, 10 or like 3 run plays of 10 plus yards in the first half, and that was as many as they'd given up all year to that point. So they found something in this Michigan State defense that other teams have not exploited yet, which is a little concerning. I don't know if it's just a one-game thing or if it's something that's going to maybe hurt us as we get more into the season. But, I mean, it's tough to win and play in the Big Ten when we talk about making a team one-dimensional all the time. If you can't make a team one-dimensional and they can kind of do whatever they want, especially when you have a guy like Jaden Maeva who is a good player, he played well, but we can't make them one-dimensional and they can hand off and they're getting 8, 9, 10 yards a pop, and then he drops back and there's no pressure in his face. It makes it real hard for a defense to get any stops.
Yeah, I mean, that was a point that we'll talk about in a second, the pass rush. But it seemed like as well early on in the game, we were going a lot of too high safety to try and prevent and protect against the passing game for USC. And they would just hand the ball off, and they would get to the second level, get to the linebackers untouched, and they would make a safety miss, go 15, 20 yards. It's kind of you choose your battle there. You go one high safety, and Jordan Mayava is going to take the one-on-ones on the outside, or you go too high and they can run the ball for 10, 15 yards every time. So, Higbee, your opinion on Joe Rossi? I don't know if I've been seeing a lot of stuff on they're not very happy with him. And I'm kind of on the opposite side. I think there's only so much Joe Rossi can do. I think it's more so players, not scheme right now. What's your opinion on that?
I'm with you. Like, obviously they hit the portal hard for the offensive side of the ball in the offseason. They didn't really do that on the defensive side of the ball, and it's showing. I mean, Exhibit A was last night, and there's not a whole lot Joe Rossi can do with what he's dealt. I mean, I think for what he has right now, he's doing great. My top priority in the offseason is going to be getting a bona fide pass rusher, a guy that can get after the quarterback, because we're going on, 15, 16 games now with very minimal pass rush. And it makes it's damn near impossible for a secondary to have to cover guys for 4, 5, 6 seconds, and the quarterback's sitting there with nobody in his face, whatever. Like, you know how it is. But
yeah,
I think that's priority number one for this team in the offseason is getting a pass rusher, and you can kind of build from there. But to your point, I think Joe Rossi is doing the best he can with the guys that are on this roster.
Yeah, I mean, we're in week 4. We just finished week 4, and I think we maybe have 3 or 4 sacks. I'm not 100% sure on that stat, but I don't think it's anything over 5. So that's obviously an area of concern. Obviously, we had expressed it before the game, and it still kind of showed.
What'd you think of the Jordan Hall targeting?
I was just about to mention that too. Like, it's so dumb, dude. Like, if you want to call a 15-yard penalty, like, sure, that's fine, I guess. But, like, do we need to kick this guy? Like, this isn't like a malicious. Like, kicking someone out is doing something, 1, egregious, 2, like, stupid. Like, you're taunting a guy, you're doing something that's non-football related, or 3, you're being like malicious intent to try and hurt someone.
Yeah.
That's like, that should be the ground for kicking someone out, not if you accidentally lower your crown of the shoulder and hit someone when you're not, like, I didn't think there was any ill intent in that hit to like try and injure the guy.
Yeah, especially just the way that play unfolded. Clearly, and he's kind of falling / diving, trying to make the tackle, and so is the USC receiver. Like, it was a kind of a bang play, and for him to get ejected that early in the game on a play like that, like you said, you get thrown out for throwing a punch. You get thrown out for like the Eagles dude spitting on a guy. Like, when you're an idiot like that, yes, you deserve to be thrown out. But for guys like this that clearly didn't mean to hit the crown of his helmet, it's getting ridiculous, because I mean, you see guys all around the country getting thrown out for stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. I know, and it's a very minimal contact. It wasn't like a hard hit either. So I don't know. I am definitely on the side that rule needs to be looked at in the offseason. And I mean, because it started out where you would get a 15-yard penalty no matter what, even if they turned the targeting off. They took that away. Actually, I think it was you would get ejected no matter what if they called targeting, and then they took that away. I don't know, and so now it's only one of the criteria. So I think the next step would be to not have the guy kicked out unless it's like deemed
a malicious hit. Like unless you can tell that he. I saw a clip this weekend. I don't know if it was from a college game or what it was, but the dude legit jumped off 2 feet and hit the crown of his helmet at a receiver's head. Like, yes, that's targeting. That deserves to be thrown out.
Yeah, those from the Pitt game. I think it was last year, but like anytime there's like a controversial targeting call, like that video always gets brought up on Twitter.
Yeah, like that's textbook, but not the Jordan Hall hit.
Yeah, and then was it Malik Spencer that almost got the other one when USC's running back hurdled? Yeah.
Yeah, my jaw dropped when they're like the play's under review for targeting. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that definitely needs to be looked at. But I just want to give some stats here for the game. In general, like I thought it was a well played game by Michigan State. I mean, obviously a game's never going to go perfect. We were down by a couple scores at some point, got within one score, and then obviously ended up losing by a couple scores. But I thought we had decent control offensively. We were able to do some stuff. We were 5 for 11 on third down, not great. They were 8 for 12 on third down. They outgained us by 200 yards. We had about the same amount of passing yards, but like I mentioned, they rushed for almost 300 yards. So you're not going to win a lot of games when that happened. And they got penalized 4 more times than we did for about 30 more yards. So we had 6, they had 10. So on that end, that is, I guess, a positive note. Any thoughts? Anything that sticks out?
What was the first stat you gave there? I was going to make a comment on it and I already forgot.
Third down percentage. We were 5 for 11. They were 8 for 12.
Yeah, it felt like we couldn't get them off the field on third down at all. And the one time that we got close was, we talked about it this morning, that late in the third quarter, they had that little half rollout. We had them bottled up. Everything was covered downfield. Great. Not to mention it's a 7-point game. You get the ball back, get all the momentum, get the ball back, get on the score. It's a tie game. But he finds a way out of the pocket, scrambles backside for 20-something yards, and that felt like the end of the game right there. Because at that point, they're almost in field goal range. I think they were at midfield. Another first down, they're in field goal range. Makes it a 2-score game. What really sucks is just that it felt like this Michigan State offense had to get points on every possession. And
yeah,
I mean, they did a good job of scoring points, but it's when you know that it puts a lot of pressure on the offense to have to score every time they get the ball.
Yeah. I think I texted you that I thought that was like the backbreaking moment of the game. It's the first play of the fourth quarter. It's a third down. We just had made I think a good play before that to force the third down. And Jaden Mayava is scrambling around and rolls out, ends up going back the other way, gets like 15 yards for a first down. And we had just, like you said, got it to a 7-point game off of a fantastic fake tush push, like little rollout. I love that play. That was a great call. Yeah.
See, that was a great call. I told you guys I had a little bit of a bone to pick with some of the play calling. Just it's so predictable sometimes. I truly want to know what our second down run percentage is, because it feels like we just hand the ball off every time on second down. There's no variety. There's not a whole lot of motion either. Like watching Lincoln Riley's offense, he does so much motion and stuff to try to confuse the defense, or even just for the quarterback to see what kind of coverage the defense is in. There's just so much pre-snap movement, and Michigan State doesn't do a whole lot of that. Obviously you're not going to make big changes like that in the middle of the season, but maybe next year going forward, seeing more motion, more stuff like that, really the littlest motion, as you know, can put the defense in such a bind. And I'd like to see more of that, because they did that about every snap.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed as well, I texted the group during the game, is whenever we're under center and Aiden Chiles does his little audible, looks to the side, we're normally in like a 2x2 or like a 3x1 bunch. Every time he does the audible, it's a run play. So, and what I'm guessing is it's like an inside zone one way, or like an outside zone to the left, or like power to the right, depending on like where the 3 tech is lined up, like play side.
Yeah.
And he just looks at that, does like a quick audible. But every time I haven't seen a play action pass off it. I haven't seen just like a straight drop back pass, and it's only under center as well. And I want to think that it's like we're trying to create and play off of that for later on in the season, and maybe we can have a pass off of that. But even like going back to last year, I remember when this was the situation where he would do his alert, and it would still be a run play. So that's just kind of going into that predictability as well, like you mentioned. So, looking through the drives.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go.
I was like just like looking through the overall flow of the game. Obviously, we started off hot on defense, got a stop in the red zone, came back, scored a touchdown on our first drive, which seemed like a very methodical drive. And I feel like our game plan of kind of keeping them off the field was working for the most part. I think like one of my keys to the game was sustaining drives. And I'm kind of look at it right here. I mean, the first touchdown score we had was a 6-play drive. We had an 11-play drive in the third quarter for a touchdown, an 8-play drive in the third quarter for a touchdown, 8-play drive in the second quarter for a field goal. So we were moving the ball, keeping them off the field. It's kind of those situational plays like we talked about earlier in that third down play in the third quarter or in the fourth quarter. Where kind of things just started to get away from us a little bit, I guess. But
yeah, I think a big part of it too. You gave the stat this morning in the group, the TFLs.
Yeah,
it felt like in the first half there was a lot of the run plays. Gentry for USC was he number 18, I think.
Yeah, he's stud.
Yeah, he was in the backfield a lot and just making the play.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we were in the backfield a decent amount actually. It felt like when Michigan State was on defense, and we just weren't able to make the play. And it's a big difference when you're in 2nd and 2 as opposed to 2nd and 12, like our 2nd and 10 even is what it felt like Michigan State was in a lot because of the predictability in the run game and having guys completely almost not touched. And that's my next point. Just I don't know what changed from the first half to the second half because the second half you were able to run the ball a little bit. Some of the cutback, the zone stretch runs, and then Frazier cutting it back. It was a nice job by him, but first half you had guys 3 techniques not touched. That's just inexcusable as an offensive line. You can't just turn the interior guys loose. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I want to say a little bit of that is guys being able to guess the snap count, and we were kind of going on the same snap count. I would have loved to see Aiden Chiles change it up a little bit and go on 2 or go on a quick count instead. It makes it a little difficult when the when the defensive line is able to kind of make that jump. But
trust me, I know about them jumping the snap count all too well at Arizona State back in 2017.
Yeah, they had that big dude that ended up playing for the Raiders, right?
Rennell Wren. Trust me, I still remember the name.
Yeah. On your point about the running game, though, yeah, it just wasn't really able to get anything going. I thought Mekhi Frazier looked pretty solid for most of the game. Being able to play on an injury, he averaged 4 yards a carry. If you take away Aiden Chiles' runs, we ran the ball 23 times for 90 yards. So it's not like a terrible average. It's not great. Obviously you want to get in like the hundreds, the 150s in the rushing category, but I don't know. And then, and to your point as well about the TFLs that I texted you about, they actually corrected our stat. We had 0 TFLs. I don't know if I said 1 earlier, but we had no sacks, no TFLs. They had 2 sacks and 7 TFLs. That's just not like you have to be able to affect the quarterback or at least create a negative play. USC didn't punt the entire game.
Which is that is an insane stat.
They either scored a touchdown or kicked a field goal every single time, or went for it on 4th down and lost the ball on downs. So,
yeah, I mean it's hard to win a game when you're not getting any negative plays as a defense. Like you got to get them behind the sticks at some point. And they had some self-inflicted wounds with penalties and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not getting any TFLs, and we talked about the pass rush, I mean, for the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
You're not getting any pass rush, no TFLs. It's makes it hard. Makes it hard. And go back to your point about Joe Rossi. Like, what's he supposed to do? If he dials that pressure, they're still not getting home. Then you're light on the back end. So it's not a whole lot for him to do. And I was going to make a point about the offensive line too, the rotation. I think the second drive, they had 2 new guys in. And I'm like, you just scored. Like, when we played, we had rotations, but we would, if we had a scoring drive, we were going to rotate guys the next drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keep the momentum going. And it kind of just blows my mind. I get that they want guys getting reps and all that, and then Ramil got hurt at some point too. But it's a good. This bye week came at a good time. I'll say that.
It did because injuries started to pile on, and we were getting hurt more and more after the playing FCS opponent and going into this week. Hey, B, I want to talk about Aiden Chiles in a sec, but I think you have a couple words for us from Nudge Printing.
Yeah, so we've talked about Nudge Printing, our newest presenting sponsor. If you're looking for the great perfect Spartan gear, you need to check out Nudge Printing. They're a Spartan-owned company in mid-Michigan. They make everything there. It's elite Michigan State gear. It doesn't just look good. It's comfortable. I got my stuff coming in the mail. It should be coming this week. I'm pumped. I think you got a hat. I got a hat, quarter zip. They got everything you want. They have the best logos. Do you like the Gruff Sparty or the script, or do you like the old school Spartan head the best?
I would have to see the old school. I'm not picturing that in my head, but I mean, the Gruff Sparty is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I'm a big Gruff Sparty guy. But they got all the logos you could ever think of. But you're supporting local craftsmanship with a true Spartan spirit at Nudge Printing. So go check them out at their website.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, my gear, I ordered it last Wednesday, so it should be here this week. I'm excited to wear it for the pod.
Me too.
Show it off a little bit.
Yeah.
Aiden Chiles, I want to talk about him a little bit. I feel like he's still continuing to have a great season. He's probably the one bright spot. And after week 1, I still had some questions about his accuracy, and I wasn't sure if he had fixed it. I don't have those same questions now. I think he still has some misses, like any quarterback does, but he's not missing wildly. I think he's playing at a very elite level. He has 11 total touchdowns, only 1 interception. I think it's close to 72% completion. So he's being efficient in the pass game. He's completing balls. It seems like he has a great feel for what Lindgren does. And I really wish we would be able to play a little better around him and try and, get – I feel like this team could go a lot of places, win 8 or 9 games, but just there's a couple things holding us back. And I definitely don't think Aiden Chiles is one of those things.
That's what I was about to say. He's not one of the issues. After the first game, I feel like a lot of people are starting to hit the panic button when it comes to his accuracy and his consistency. But through 4 games and against a good USC team on the road, he's proven that he's taken a giant step in the right direction since last year with accuracy, with not making the big mistake, and just being consistent. He seems like he's got the offense totally under control. He seems, for the most part, like he's pretty calm, cool, collected at all times, which is good to see. And he's got total control of the huddle. And he's making some big time throws.
Yes.
I was kind of surprised. I mean, obviously USC did a good job spying him with Gentry, like I said, but he didn't really use his legs much, it felt like, last night, which has been a big weapon for him up to that point. But credit to USC again. And it's hard when, again, Michigan State was pretty one-dimensional in the first half. So when it's all on his shoulders, he's done pretty good so far this year, and it's impressive. Now that I'm thinking about it too, Nick Marsh, I think he only had 2 catches.
2 catches, yeah.
So whether that was what Michigan State didn't do or what USC did, his quietest game this far, obviously minus the injury, but he still had a bigger game against Youngstown State.
Yeah, two total catches for 28 yards. One of them came on the first drive of the game, probably like the 3rd or 4th play. So for the rest of the game, he had 1 catch. So obviously not as involved as we would like to see. Omari Kelly obviously had a great game, 6 catches for 133 and a touchdown. That long one kind of at the end and a little bit of garbage time. But to your point about Aiden Chiles not using his legs as much, I think there's also a big reason for that is teams can rush 4, they can spy him, and they can just, sit back and play defense. And they can create pressure by rushing 4. So he's not able to, throw, sit back there and diagnose the defense and make the throw. But they can create pressure to get him out of the pocket. And then once he does get out of the pocket, they have a guy there to at least spy him or mirror him wherever he goes. So that definitely doesn't help.
To me, that goes back to the O-line. Like if you're able to protect for a pass rush of 4 guys, they got to start inserting guys more places, got to bring more exotic blitzes, and that takes away from the spy and everything else where Chiles is able to use his legs. So starts up front. These guys got to figure it out. I don't know what the status is on Ramil injury-wise, but they got to figure it out.
Does it seem like we get more unlucky with injuries every year?
I don't know. I was thinking that yesterday too. It's like, does every team have this problem every year? Because I feel like in 2016 we had a disgusting amount of injuries on our team.
Yeah, you and I got hurt that year.
Yeah, but I feel like we had a lot of season enders that year, and we had a lot of guys playing that we weren't really planning on them playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the last 3 years here, it's been just one after another, and you got friendly fire with Dunnigan and Martinez, and it's so unlucky. Yeah,
I thought that was gonna be a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah, it's just so unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like 2017 was our best year. We didn't really have a lot of injuries that year, and I feel like that played a big part into it. 2018, Felton tore his Achilles, Felton Davis. 2019, Cody White and
I missed half the year.
Huh?
I missed the second half of the year.
Yeah, you missed the second half of the year. Cody got hurt. Daryl Stewart got hurt a little bit. So maybe it's just like kind of what happens in college football, and you don't really think about it while you're playing, but when you're a fan watching the team, it becomes a little bit more of an issue.
Yeah, that might be a good point, I guess, because I don't really know. I mean, I don't follow any other teams that closely to know how many guys get hurt, but I mean, it's a violent sport. We all know that guys are going to get hurt. It's part of the game, but it just feels like we have some pretty bad luck.
We do. I 100% agree. Anything else? I was going to give my final impressions and thoughts of the game real quick. I kind of said it earlier, but this game was kind of what we expected. At least, what me, Higby, and Dante expected. And a lot of people thought, even our fans thought that this was going to be, I mean, everyone was betting USC thinking that they were going to cover 17.5 points. They were going to blow us out. We were going to go down to the East Coast and not be able to compete at all. I think we showed that we have some fight in us. We can win those games where you're playing Iowa, you're playing Minnesota, throw Rutgers in there, I guess. But you're playing those games where it could kind of go either way, and we have a little bit of an advantage. We can at least compete. And again, this is what I said at the beginning of the season. I don't think we're going to win 9 games. I don't think we're going to win 10 games. I think our ceiling was 8, and that was depending on how well our defense played. And they're not, playing up to the standard that obviously they know that they want to be playing up to, and definitely not, a Michigan State standard. So I'm still kind of in the same boat. I'm not, disappointed in this team whatsoever. I feel like they're still battling, still fighting. I still trust in Coach Smith and what they're doing. I feel like they're going to be able to at least compete in every game, not named Penn State.
Still got to compete, but the scoreboard may not reflect it.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm with you though. Like this team, yesterday went kind of how everybody expected. The spread was 19.5 at kickoff for a reason. Like USC is a good team. I know I probably said it before the season that they were my pick to be a disappointing team in the Big Ten. They've proven me quite wrong. I've been wrong on a lot of picks this year. But like this Michigan State team, they're still very capable of winning 6, 7, sealing 8 games, 9 if you're lucky. But 6, 7, 8, it's all still in front of you, and there's nothing to panic about right now. The defense didn't look great. Get guys healthy in the bye week next week and go take care of business against Nebraska.
Yeah, 100%. So we got a bye week coming up. Have Nebraska the week after that. Kind of see where everything shapes up after that. And Nebraska's will be coming off a bye week as well. So,
and they didn't. I watched a lot of that game. I didn't watch the whole game. How did you think they looked against Michigan?
I thought they looked better than I thought. I don't know. I mean, they gave up 2 long touchdown runs, and that was really the only running game that Michigan could do against them.
I think Dante's texted it, but Raiola's throwing motion, we talked about it week 1, I think, but his throwing motion is horrid.
Dude, I saw people loving on Raiola on Twitter after the game. I was like, I don't know if they were watching the same game I was, because I'm not a huge fan of his. I don't know.
I was going into the season, I thought he was going to take a big step, obviously year 1 to year 2, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I just don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to give a quick around college football. We'll go a little stock up, stock down. I'll give my stock down real quick. Illinois got absolutely smoked by Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana, I thought, they were just kind of messing around, I guess, playing with their food the first couple of games against lesser opponents. But they were pretty ready to play Illinois, and they absolutely smoked them. They won 63-10. So Indiana could be good again. Not quite expecting that, but.
Well, I wasn't really expecting Indiana to do that to Illinois. I think were we all on Illinois, all 3 of us?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not great.
Yeah.
But I got 3 stock ups. Miami's my first. I wasn't a true believer in them. I don't really know if I still am, but I don't know how I couldn't be after that performance. Florida is a disgrace.
Florida's defense is good.
Florida's defense is very good, but that offense, more specifically, is a disgrace.
Their offense is bad.
Billy Napier, he's an offensive guy too.
I know.
I thought he was going to get DJ Lagway right this year. It's been quite the opposite, and that they just look uninspired. They look like they have zero confidence, and it's kind of hard to watch on TV to see a team look like that. They just look defeated already, and we're 4 games into the season. Another stock up for me was going to be Oklahoma. I wasn't a believer in Oklahoma yet. I thought Auburn was going to go in there and win that game, but credit to them. Oklahoma,
10 sacks.
That's disgusting. That's
absurd. You snap the ball 65 times a game, 1 out of every 5 plays, 1 out of every 6 plays is a sack. That's unbelievable.
You're not going to win many games giving up 10 sacks.
No.
I'll say that. That's what I watched the end of that game, and that D line was just having their way without offensive line. Even if it wasn't a sack, they were just tossing guys to the side, left and right. Did
you see Oklahoma obviously won by 7, and that gimmicky touchdown they scored the first touchdown of the game.
Yeah,
the SEC came out and said that it's not allowed.
Yeah, how do you miss that as an official?
I don't know. That's a very clear and obvious. Guy has to be he has to go inside the numbers before he can come back out. Man, maybe he did, or you pretend he was hurt running off the field and just stopped. I don't know.
But as an official, after he catches the touchdown, you got to throw the flag and be that's illegal. You can't do that. Yeah. That's it doesn't get any more obvious than that. It's kind of absurd that they were able to get away with that. My third stock up was Texas Tech. I think we were all waiting to see them win a big one. And I know a lot of people are high on Utah, but they don't lose at home. And what they did to Utah in Utah, that was impressive. So they could be for real. I know they spent a lot of money on that roster this offseason. I don't know who they got next, but that was a good win for them.
That was. And their defense looked legit. And Devin Dampierre, former Pinnacle high schooler, trained with him down in Arizona.
No.
Been balling out. Did not have a good game the other day. So I think I only have 1 stock down or 1. What did I do? Stock down? My stock up.
No, actually, you did stock up.
I did stock up? Okay.
You did because your stock up was Indiana.
Okay. Then my stock down, obviously, one would be Illinois. My second one would be Wisconsin. I don't know how much longer Luke Fickell has, but it's not very long. Fans are not happy with it. Like I've seen former players on Twitter saying like we built up Wisconsin for the last 20, 25 years, and he completely ruined it in 3 years. And they're 2-2. I don't know if they win another game for the rest of the year. To be quite honest, I mean, Maryland, first of all, Maryland, their quarterback, Malik Washington, I think is his name. He's a player. He's going to be playing at a better school next year, which kind of sucks to say in this day and age of football, but he's a good player. But Wisconsin's my stock down.
There was a few choices for my stock down. I think the biggest would be Clemson. And I mean, what you just said about I just drew a blank. What team did you just do?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. What you just said about Wisconsin, how those players have built that up the last 20 years, what those players have built up the last 10 years at Clemson,
man.
I'm not going to say Dabo has just ruined it because I think he's a good coach still. I'll start there. Do you think he's a good coach?
Yes, but I think he's a little stubborn in some things.
Yes, that was my next point. I think he's stubborn. I think his philosophy around the transfer portal, he needs to kind of
reevaluate that. Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, I think Syracuse is a good team. Are they 34-21 at Clemson good? I don't think so. No. So my stock down is Clemson. They're for a world of shit the rest of the year because if they lose a couple more games, that seat's already hot. I don't think I could see them firing Dabo, but I mean I could be totally wrong.
I don't think they would. That would be a little absurd to me. I mean, the guy's got you 2 or 3. What is it? 3 national championships in the last 10 years. 2 national championships in the last 10 years. I don't see them firing, and I think that would be really dumb. But
they should win their next 2. They got Boston College and North Carolina, then Boston College, but then they got SMU, Duke, Florida State at Louisville. So a lot of winnable games, but they could definitely lose a couple mixed in there too.
Yeah. So looking ahead to this week in college football, this might be one of the best sports weeks that we'll have all fall.
The Ryder Cup? Come on.
We got the Ryder Cup. We got last week of professional baseball, a lot of implications for the playoffs. Matchup
quick timeout. We're recording this on a Sunday. It was supposed to be a big week for Houston sports. Man, has that turned upside down.
Yeah, the Astros lost tonight,
right? They're losing currently, yes. But they're about to get swept by a division opponent, and pretty much the winner of this series was going to win the division. Okay. And the Astros are battling just to make the playoffs now. So there's that, and then the Texans lose to the Jags today. That offense, you want to talk about a bad offense? The Texans offense looks worse than they did last year, and I thought I couldn't see much worse than last year.
Yeah, their O-line looks worse than what they did last year, and they were not good at all.
Yeah, so they need a bye week desperately to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, so we got the Ryder Cup college football matchups. We have USC at Illinois, TCU at Arizona State, which would be, I think, a pretty good game. Notre Dame and Arkansas, but Auburn at A&M, Ohio State at Washington. That is going to be a very underrated game. I think that game could be good depending on how good Washington's defense is. LSU at Ole Miss, Oregon at Penn State. Obviously,
you got that one.
LSU Ole Miss.
Yeah, I might go Ole Miss.
I think I would go Ole Miss because LSU. I think they might be frauds. They like their best win was against Clemson, and that is a fraudulent win now. So, and then Alabama at Georgia. So it's gonna be a great week of college football. Huh?
That Bama Georgia game is this weekend?
It is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, game day chose Oregon Penn State over that one. Kind of shocking.
Wow.
All the SEC bias, but any thoughts on those?
Well, off rip, I lean Georgia for sure. And then I know Penn State was my pick for the Big Ten, but right now I think I lean Oregon in that game. Oregon has looked more human these last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how you stop that off. I don't know how you hold them to less than 30, 35 points a game.
Yeah, I don't think you can. So yeah, this will be a very, very fun week of college football. I'm very excited for it. And I just bought a second TV for my living room, so I will be watching a lot of football in that living room for a while.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Our locks, our final segment of the day.
I got up off the mat.
He finally got up off the mat. You want to start us off here, Tyler?
Yeah, so I gave my pick last week, and I said if Nick Marsh and Mekhi Frazier play, I love the Michigan State USC over, and it hit. I was a little skeptical there early on, but the points started flowing in the second half. It hit pretty easily. I think it closed at 56.5, I think was the final over.
Either way, smashed it.
Yeah, it smashed it either way. So it was good to finally get a win on the board, and now we go.
Only up from here. Actually, that's not true. It could definitely get a lot worse, but you at least have one now. We're not going undefeated. I had Miami -8 versus Florida. Got a little dicey there at the end. Miami's offense kind of stalled out in the second half, but they were able to pull away late a little bit, bringing my record to 3-1. I'm hot in this pick'em. I'm hot in me and Tyler have another league that we do for pick'ems. I'm hot in that league as well. So
yeah, that Auburn-Oklahoma game really screwed you there.
It really did. I would have had the best record out of about 90 people if Auburn hadn't taken a sack in the end zone for a safety with about 30 seconds left. So Dante's lock was Illinois. We can skip right through that one. That wasn't even close. Another sucker bet right there. Indiana at home, betting against Coach Sig. We keep thinking he's going to fail, but he's not.
I know. I think I finally learned my lesson betting against him in a big game like that. He's out for blood in those big games.
I think so. And unless it's like a game where they are physically overmatched and they just don't like the other team has clear and away like better players, I think he's going to outcoach and probably win at like any game, most games against, like a 9th ranked Illinois. Like I don't know how terrified I am of an Illinois team. It doesn't really matter what year it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little rude there. But
I'm kind of with you. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around Illinois being in the top 10.
Yeah, I don't know if they deserve a top 10 rating. But any other thoughts, Higby, on overall USC game, overall college football as we head into week 5?
I think I'm good. I mean, you're starting to see who is and who isn't around the country, and especially in the Big Ten. So it's going to be a big weekend coming up for those games you just mentioned. It's a good time for Michigan State to get a bye week, get healthy, kind of hit the reset button, and hopefully hit the ground running the rest of Big Ten. Big Ten play.
Health is definitely the most important thing, and the bye week, like we said, cannot have come at a better time. So happy to get the bye week.
Happy to watch our only episode this week, huh?
Yeah, maybe we'll do one later this week. I don't know. It won't be a lot to talk about. Probably will be the only one. So if we don't see you again, Dante will probably be with us the next time we do. So without further ado, enjoy the football this week. Michigan State has a little bit of a break. Go Green.